Just as a note, I'm not doing them in order of when I think they should be adapted. I'm just doing them kind of when I feel like. So next up, Lupinranger versus Patranger. In the non-too-distant future, the crime syndicate known as the Ganglers has stolen the greatest collection of the Power Rangers and fled to an alternate dimension, where they use the greatest treasures for crime, and now it's up to this dimension's Power Rangers to stop them. But also, from the other dimension, a mysterious benefactor is paying the greatest thieves in the world to steal back the greatest treasures of the Power Rangers as Power Rangers thief. And the two Ranger teams butt heads as Power Rangers Thief versus Justice. So we have two teams of three going at each other to stop the Ganglers and get back the collection. So starting with the Justice Rangers, they are the natives of this dimension, which is similar but not exact to the normal main Power Rangers universe, but it's a lot less advanced. So like the Zordon era, Mighty Morphin 2 in space happened, but nothing really else happened except Power Rangers Prism, which is their kind of time force. So the actual Justice Rangers themselves, Aubrey Joseph as the Red Justice, Archie Wentworth, who's the mostly serious, hard-ass cop who really comes from nothing, and he busted his ass to get to where he is, and he's the leader of the squad, and he was chosen to be the Red Ranger because he's so good and all that. Justice Green, Johnny Fuzzy, played by Dylan Playfair from Letterkenny. His last name was Fuzzy because police, the fuzz. I'm clever like that. He's the comic relief tough one of the group, and he was the last minute replacement for the original Justice Green, who was KIA, killed in action, before he could become the Green Ranger, which is unfortunate for Justice Pink, because that was her best friend. Justice Pink, Beth Clouseau because, Pink Panther, haha, I'm funny like that, whatever. Played by Hermione Corfield, who's kind of like the Jen badass Pink Ranger, who has a secret affinity for stuffed animals. Power Rangers thieves are from the same dimension as the Ganglers, who are later revealed to be the prime main Power Rangers universe. They're all getting paid by the mysterious benefactor to recover the treasures of the Power Rangers. Each of them are paid 1,000 per artifact returned, like each. So all three of them get 1,000 for one artifact. If one is not recovered, of course, they don't get paid for it. And if one artifact is destroyed, then they have to pay the mysterious benefactor 1,500 each. So each artifact destroyed is 1,500 for all three of them. Thief Red, Clyde Saint, played by Finley Macmillan, who is, a reference to Bonnie and Clyde. He wants the money because he wants to save his dog, who's the last of his family still around because his parents died in an accident. Thief Red and Justice Red kind of have a Wes, Eric / Homer and Frank Grimes relationship where Justice Red, he got nothing in life and he had to work for everything. And Thief Red is just really lucky, good criminal who started robbing paintings and stuff so he can afford the several $1,000 operation on his dog who was ran over by a car or something. And Justice Red sees Thief Red as being really petty. He wants to spend all his money on a dog, but the dog has sentimental value to Thief Red. Thief Blue, Robbie Ocean. Robbie as a play on he robs an ocean, like the ocean movies, the Ocean 12 movies. Played by Diego Tinoco. He wants the money to help his dying fiance. And it also turns out that Robbie is the alternate universe counterpart of Justice Pink's friend, who was originally supposed to be Justice Green. Thief Yellow, Bonnie Ocean, who is Robbie's sister, and I don't know, maybe like girlfriend to Thief Red. Played by Isabella Merced. Sorry if I say that name wrong. She is a subversion of usually the Pink Ranger is the girly one, the Yellow Ranger is the tomboy. Here, the tomboy is the Pink Ranger, and the Yellow Ranger is the girly one. Thief Yellow is into fashion and dresses and all that. She wants the money to help, with her friend who's deadly ill, and to save him, it costs, several $1,000 operation. And then there's our Sixth Ranger for the series, Electrum Philbus, as the Ranger X, played by the Mediocre Gamer on YouTube. Link to her channel in the description. Who is transgendered, man to woman, which, adds to the LGBTQ Rangers. And this would be the first one in the actual shows. Philbus, of course, named after the cross-dressing Italian airship flying thief movie. Yeah. And Electrum by name, Electrum by profession, because she has Electrum is Gold and Silver Rangers for the Justice and Thieves, respectively. She's a double agent that works for both sides. Commander of this branch of the SPD, she is Ranger Gold, who supports the Justice Rangers and is a mentor RJ type. And Ranger X Silver, who supports the Thieves, and she's the mysterious loner ranger. For morphers, the Justice Rangers have this gun thing that they slide on a mini version of their Zords, and when they slide it on, it goes, red, green, pink, respectively, and then they're like, SPD, and then they hold the back shovel handle thing and fold it downwards, and then they're like, emergency, and then shoot the gun, and then they morph. The Thieves have a similar gun thing that they slide another mini version of their Zords on, but they fold it upwards, and instead of, of course, they don't say the same thing. They slide it on, and then they turn the knob on top, and it goes 0, 1, 0! And then they hold the shovel handle thing, fold it upwards, and says, masquerade! And then they shoot it, and they morph. Ranger X has this big, complicated gun thing, where he's like, exchange! And then, he folds it to whatever side he wants, so gold or silver. And each time it slides, it's like, X nice! And Justice Gold, or Thief Silver. The Thieves have the Victory Strike armor based on the Victory Strike Zord, and the Justices have the Siren Strike armor based on the Siren Strike Zord, and they're interchangeable, so all the Thieves can use the Victory Strike, all the Justices can use the Siren Strike. Our battleizer for the season is Thief Tricolor and Justice Tricolor modes. The villains are a crime syndicate known as the Ganglers. Their foot soldiers are just called thugs, who are ruled by the Don Yaban, who's basically got a foot in the grave and he's wanting to retire, but he doesn't want to retire quite yet because he needs to find a successor because his son is disinterested, which is where the Monster of the Week comes from. To play him, Michael Hogan.
There's a nice little place in the foothills I'm going to retire to.
The Don's right-hand man is Destra, who's, the guy who's going to break your kneecaps if you cross the Don. To play him, Jeffrey Dolan, who, is a usual generic voice for Power Rangers, but I usually don't really mention when I use those, but I think this time Korag's voice can work for this guy.
You may have defeated my Heliacs, but you will not defeat me.
Gaucher, who is the Don's wife and mother of his son. Gaucher is the scientist, for the group. She's the one to attach the saves to all the Gangler members to give them the powers of the Power Ranger collection. The player, Yevgeny Stravotsky.
I didn't fully believe you'd be up to the task, and it seems I was wrong.
Zamigo, who's the son of the Don, and Gaucher, played by Josh Keaton.
Whenever your friends look into your eyes, they will be reminded of the high price you paid when you dared confront the mightiest.
At first, Zamigo is disinterested in the Gangler and doesn't want to inherit it from his dad, and that's why we have the Monsters of the Week who are trying to be worthy enough to inherit the Gangler. But later in the series, when the Don is killed, it is revealed by Zamigo that he is the mysterious benefactor, and that he set up the entire series. He pretended not to be interested in inheriting the Gangler, so his father can get rid of his competition. He's the one who caused injuries to the loved ones of the Thieves Rangers to make them agree to take the job to become the Thief Rangers. He's the one who killed Justice Pink's friend and made sure that his alternate universe counterpart was the one of the three to come to this universe. He's the one who made the Ranger Morphers, which is why they're so similar. Chaos is a ladder! And now Zamagu is the main villain for the rest of the series, as the thieves and justices have to put their differences aside to stop him and get the rest of the treasure back. And then Zamagu makes his own morpher and uses the suit from Kamen Rider Lupin, because it's that kind of show, as Power Ranger Gangler. The greatest treasures of the Power Rangers can either be like in Lupinranger, or given how much unique footage that Hasbro was willing to do for Beast Morphers, maybe have them be the original item they're based off of. They adapt the gender swap episode, and it turns into an episode about a message that it's okay to have a complicated gender, and not everything is so black and white with gender and, all that, and acceptance. And an episode where the two Red Rangers body swap, and Justice Red tries to use this as a way to find out who the thieves are, just for him not to recognize who Thief Red is. Constellation Force crossover and Dino Fury crossover. At the very end of the show, Electrum is promoted to Supreme Commander of the SPD. Justice Red is promoted to Commander of the Earth branch of SPD, and the Thieves are reorganized into SPD, so we get the classic SPD full team. Red, blue, green, yellow, pink. And of course the Thieves get their loved ones back, and they move to this new dimension to protect it from other threats.